How to make a man happy. I've been married for only a month, but I'm so happy and excited that I found my partner, the person I want to spend the rest of my life with and beyond. So, as a newbie, I'm trying to learn how to be a good wife and make my husband happy. Why? I love him and he loves me. Dealing with a sad guy can be awful. When the excitement of the wedding wears off and life goes back to normal, things can get hard quickly. Here are some things I try to do to keep my husband happy, and you might too. Keep in mind that there are many other things you can do to make him happy. The most important thing to know is that you want to do things for him that he will notice and value. If he sees how hard you are trying to make him happy, he will do the same for you. Be polite to him. Okay, sometimes I'm not as polite as I should be. I have temper tantrums, and when I do, I often say things I don't mean and later regret. I know it's wrong, and I'm doing all I can to fix it. Even if you don't always feel like your husband treats you with care, it's important to let him know that he's your top priority. Don't put him down in front of his family or friends. Even if you don't agree with him, you should always accept how he feels about something. Make sure he knows you respect him, even if you don't tell him that every day. Men want to feel like they are appreciated, and a lot of their anger and sadness come from feeling like someone else doesn't respect them. Ask about the things he likes to do. My husband likes to watch TV and play football. I hate watching TV, and football isn't very interesting to me. However, my husband wants to go to football games, and I want to honor that. This doesn't mean you have to watch him play basketball with his friends every time. More importantly, know what he likes. If he likes to hunt, get him a shooting magazine he likes or a piece of gear you know he's been looking at. Just because you're interested doesn't mean you have to be fully involved. Give him enough room to do the things he likes. That doesn't mean you have to do the same things he does. If he wants to play guitar in the garage, let him. Have regular sex. This may seem like a no-brainer, but it's very important to say. I don't just mean that you should have sex twice a week. As much as possible, throw yourself into the act. Sex is an important and necessary part of a man's life. Love on him to show him you care about him. Get involved and leave your worries behind. This is the man you promised to spend the rest of your life with when you got married. Have fun and look at each other's bodies. Try to start things up sometimes. This will keep things interesting and make your husband even more eager to have fun in bed. We have no problems here, thank goodness. We have a great sex life and are both very passionate, and we always make time for each other. It's not just rough, crazy, and intense sex that gets us closer, but also making love and being one. Try something different. I love surprising my husband. I know what he needs, which is sometimes just soap or a new t-shirt that he doesn't want us to spend money on, but I still want to do it. You can pick up his favorite treat on the way home at the food store or bakery. Make plans to get away for the weekend. When he gets home, rub him down. It's not always a man's job to do things like this. As a loyal wife, you should surprise your husband and remind him of the fun woman he fell in love with. Trust me, he will love the gift and be happy that you did something so kind. Be yourself. Be the woman he recognizes sitting on the couch at home. This doesn't mean you should burp in public or always wear your sweats. This just means that you don't have to put on a show for the girls in your child's class or act rude in front of his friends. He fell in love with you, so you should never feel like you must change. When you are both out in public, be polite and respectful, but don't try to hide who you are. Why did he like you in the first place? Because you have a strong sense of who you are and a lot of self-confidence. Let go of things. If your husband did something that hurt you in the past, but you said you forgave him for it, just let it go. He forgot whether it was the occasion or not. If you've already said you forgive him, don't bring it up again. It might be an easy way to get his goat in a fight about something else, but holding on to things that belong in the past is bad for any relationship. You should do the same thing with the other things he does that may sometimes bother you. Don't worry about things too much, and if he does something you don't like, just tell him. Neither you nor your husband should hold on to small things or small grudges. Most of the small things that bother you will be forgotten in a few weeks, so it's not worth getting upset about them. Look after him. If your husband is sick, you should take care of him. Don't make fun of him for acting like a child. He's probably acting like a child, but let him know you're there for him. Make him his favorite food, take him to the store to get his medicine, and let him watch his favorite TV show. In the same way, if he's just having a bad day, give him room and let him know you're there for him if he needs you. Men want to feel loved and wanted, so if you show them how much you care, it will mean a lot. Don't nag. This is probably one of the most obvious things to say, but it's also one of the hardest things to do. Tell your husband in a cool, matter-of-fact way if he does something that drives you crazy. This is often hard for me to do because I can be very pushy. Don't always bother him about something, especially if it's something he can't change right away. Nagging annoys. Eventually, being annoyed leads to anger. Tell him why you're upset and annoyed by what he's doing. If you tell him what kind of behavior bothers you, he will be more careful and willing to work with you. Don't try to make him different. Don't try to make your guy into someone he's not. Unless it is hurting him, there is no reason for him to change. If you chose him because of who he is, then let him stay the same. You can push him to be the best version of himself, but it's crazy to think that if you nag him enough, you can change who he is. Let him be himself totally because you fell in love with that person in the first place. Trying to change who he is at his core is a mistake that will only lead to more problems. Send him texts that are sexy and flirty. Tell him you are thinking of him. Send him a cute text telling him what you want to do with him when he gets home. Be as cute and friendly with him as you were when you first started dating. He will appreciate the act, especially if it happens when he is feeling down and bored at work. Bringing that kind of excitement and surprise back into your lives is a great way to keep things interesting. Be understanding. Don't worry if his work plan changes and he must stay late for a meeting. Even though he missed dinner, again, at least he called to tell you. It's not always as easy as it sounds. Things will happen that will make you sad from time to time. Take a deep breath and try to understand what's going on. Try not to take things too personally, because your husband is already stressed out by things like that. Cuddle him. Men like to hear that they are liked and be hugged just as much as women do. Make sure he understands how much you care about him. Even if they don't always show it, men want to feel liked and loved. Look after yourself. We can't all always have flat bellies and makeup that looks great. But you can show him, and yourself, how beautiful you are by doing easy things. We can get stuck in a rut in a marriage and stop thinking it's important to look nice for our spouse. You should brush your teeth, take a shower, at least once every 2 days, and put away your dirty clothes. When you can, do yoga and the gym together. Wear your best little sundress and show off what you've got. Most likely, your husband will do the same for you and make you look great. Say you love him. As women, we can sometimes forget how weak our men are. Make sure to tell him often that you love him. Men like to hear that they are liked and be hugged just as much as women do. Make sure he understands how much you care about him. Even if they don't always show it, men want to feel liked and loved. Reminding him how much you care about him is a kind act that will make him feel loved and wanted. Don't expect as much. Life is not like a love story. Men don't always say the cleverest things. Don't think that every day will be a happy ending. Your man will make mistakes, and he will make a lot of them. Don't always expect a long letter of sorry or a dozen roses after a fight. Yes, it would be nice sometimes, but keep in mind that guys are made differently than we are. Rarely does he do what we think he should do. Realize that most of the time, women wrote all those love movies. Don't let your hopes get too high because you've been reading too many books and watching too many love movies. But you can still accept that a gold ring or pair of earrings, or keep thinking. If something is bad, you should try to fix it. There will always be rough spots in your relationship. If you're at a point where you don't know what to do, try your best to fix things. This doesn't mean you should keep going on and on about what you should be doing. If you love your husband and want to make things right, don't always expect him to take the first step. Don't just hope that things will get better on their own. If there are problems in your relationship, you should try to solve them. Hate and pessimism never help solve a problem. Instead, they make things worse. Even with these things, a marriage won't always be perfect. Do the things you know will make your husband happy and enjoy the ride that is marriage.